The Eric Zane Show podcast has begun. A daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. So glad you are here from the Impact Power Sports studio. Impact Power Sports, they sell fun stuff. You know, ATVs, UTVs, golf carts, motorcycles. All right. Three puppy couch. On the Lions couch, Darla licking Bruce's ears. That might lead to me yelling at her. Relax. It's not the end of the world. Hold on a second. Hey, seriously, stop. As some of you already know, when she starts licking his ears, he gets all turned on, and then the next thing you know, we have a horrible incident happening. It's happened before. Last thing you want is dog 69. Good God. Kelly Stafford, the wife of future Hall of Famer Matthew Stafford, the quarterback for the Rams, is not happy. She has a podcast. Everybody has a damn podcast. And she's like, yeah, we've got a problem. I'm upset. No, knock it off. I'm not kidding you. Look at that. Look at me. She's just side-eyeing me. Holy shit. This is not good. I apologize. Best laid plans. I start the show. She starts licking Bruce's ears. Okay, I think she's settling down. Okay, that's good. All right. Tyler writes, she's never happy. Talk about her behavior when she was in Detroit. She was always, she wasn't on the level of annoying when it comes to family members of NFL players as like Brittany Mahomes. She wasn't like at that level. But she's been kind of just like, I don't know. Not sure about Kelly Stafford. Well, the Staffords, I mean, not only is Matthew Stafford quite a good quarterback, the couple they're quite skilled at having children. They have 4 very young kids. And for the game at Ford Field, at some point, Kelly Stafford is on the field. Walking on the field. Now, let me just say this. To watch your husband play you don't need to walk on the field. It's not like you have to walk on the field to get to where you're going to watch the game. She knows full well how she's going to be received when she walks onto the field. She's going to be booed. Her husband was booed. Why wouldn't she be booed? Of course, that's the fun of the game. Here comes, this guy used to be on our side. I mean, what did you expect? Honestly. So I'm not buying all this drama that you brought on yourself. You don't have to walk on the field with your kids. Now, if it's just her walking on the field, that's one thing. But she's walking on the field with her 4 kids. And I don't know if I said daughters, but I think some of them are sons. I don't know. She's got 4 kids. And they're booing her. And she's so thick-skulled. She's like, oh, they can't possibly be booing me. They're booing my kids. She turns around on her podcast and says, they're booing my kids. Kenny says, I feel this is appropriate. The drop we should be playing is, I don't listen to women yelling. I tell them to shut up. That was a great drop, to be sure. Maybe she does have 4 girls. She's pissed off. According to the article I'm looking at, she and her 4 children, Tyler 3, Hunter 5, Sawyer and Chandler, were booed on the sideline. Yeah, I don't think Tyler and Hunter are girls. Maybe they are. I don't know. Hunter started crying on the field, Kelly Stafford said 6 minutes into Monday's episode of her podcast the morning after. She says, and listen, this is not everybody. This is the fans that are the loudest, she said. But I will say one thing. We're not playing the game. My girls, maybe they are all girls. My girls and I are not playing the game. Wait a minute. She's got a girl named Hunter and a girl named Tyler. What are the other ones' names? John and Frank? Yeah, let's call the girl Hunter. What an asshole. My girls and I are not playing the game. I know my girls are not getting booed. Wait a minute. I thought you said they were booed. The wife of NFL player Matthew Stafford says that she and her 4 children were booed. All right. My girls are not getting booed. I am, and I can handle it. But when I have my girls next to me, there's something to be said of like, maybe not. Well, maybe you shouldn't have wandered out into the lion's den knowing that you would be the target with your children. Most parents have foresight. They know when there's going to be something that's happening that the children aren't going to be able to process. They don't get it. They don't understand. You're the one who led them out there. If the Lions fans are booing, and they're booing you, obviously she knows that, you can't turn around and say, they booed my kids. First of all, you can't do that, which you did. Second of all, what do you expect? According to Sports Illustrated, Kelly Stafford posted an Instagram story after the game that said, it's sports. The city wants to win. Everything is fair game, except the fans who booed my children. Okay. If you admit that you know they're booing you, you then cannot say publicly that they booed your children. The only way, if you are out there with your girls and you're hearing boos, obviously they're booing you. Unless they go, boo, Hunter! Tyler. Boo! Twins Sawyer and Chandler, age 6. Okay? So don't turn around and say, oh my God, the fans are bullying my children. You asshole. Chris says time to throw some D-cell batteries. Yeah, I don't think you want to throw D-cell batteries at people, especially children. Linda says Stafford wanted a boy and is obviously compensating with those names. This is when Stafford came onto the field. Sounds good. Normal. Kelly is suggesting that that's what they did to her children. Nobody booed your children. Okay? Knock that shit off. Quit making things up. Kelly Stafford said on her podcast Monday that Hunter was in tears. She said she took the opportunity as a teaching moment for her kids. She said she explained to her kids, they are not booing you, they are booing mommy. Well, you know it, okay? If you explained it to the kids that they're not booing you, they're booing me, you obviously admitted that you know, well, then you can't say that they were booing your kids ever in any forum. That's not fair to the fucking fans. Not that they care. Who gives a shit? Kelly Stafford's mad at us. Who gives a fuck? Most people would understand. Most people wouldn't wander out onto the field knowing that they're a target for the fans and then bring their kids along, you idiot. The fans are very passionate and excited about this game. They want their Lions to win. She said she told her daughters, we're on the other team. We're going to move on because there's also fans in there that are cheering, that are saying thank you. No, they weren't. But we're not hearing that over the louder ones. Yeah, it's just easier as a parent to not have to explain that shit. I mean, all that pain in the ass talking you got to do to your kids to explain that shit. She's there on the field crying. They don't give a fuck. They're not listening to you. You idiot. Like the kid's going to go, oh, okay, I get it now, Mom. Oh, that's right. They're booing you. Kid's not going to see it that way, no matter what you say. Kelly Stafford said that after she explained this to her kids, one of her 6-year-old twins immediately cut to the chase. Sawyer looked at me and she said, but we're not playing the sport. Yeah. When I was a parent of young children, I would just avoid shit that draws conversations like that. You have young kids. Your job as a parent. Child's born. Take the picture of mom and baby after she's cleaned up and put her makeup on, probably a couple days later when she's feeling better. Make your big announcement. And then no one sees or hears from that child for about 18 years. You don't go to restaurants. You don't go out. You just keep them in the house. And you know my stance on schools nowadays. Don't send your kids to school anymore. Teach them at home. You get the one announcement, 18 years later, graduation from homeschool. Don't be dragging them around on the turf of the football stadium where this ravenous fan base hasn't had anything positive happen in the last 300 years or whatever the fuck it is. And here you are, pain in the ass wife of the quarterback who asked for a trade to leave the organization. And you're wondering, oh, my God, I can't believe. Why would they boo my children? And then you know full well they weren't booing your children. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth, you asshole. Sawyer looked at me and she goes, but we're not playing the sport. You see, if she were being honest with the kid, she would give all of the backstory. She would say, well, these crazy fans have been upset for years because the team has sucked. And Daddy contributed to that. Daddy was a great quarterback at times for the team, but when it ever mattered, he sucked. Okay? And then he was frustrated because the team sucked so bad and he asked to leave. So they sent us to another team and Daddy did very well, and that made these fans even more angry. All the while, Mommy was being a pain in the ass publicly. Okay? Mommy's got a big, fat fucking mouth. Not as big as Brittany Mahomes, but still. Mom's kind of an asshole and says whatever the fuck she wants. So, all right, no big deal. And now here we are back to the team that Daddy quit because he's a shithead loser. And the fans are having fun booing me and Daddy. You have nothing to do with this, but since I'm standing next to you and I'm oblivious to the fact that taking children out in front of Lions fans on the day of the big game on the field is a stupid thing, I'm not going to pay attention to that because I want people to know that I'm here. That's what's going on. That's your teachable moment, Kelly Stafford, you dick. What an asshole. Who the fuck puts their kids out in front of fans like that? Chris says, I saw someone on Facebook comparing Lions fans to Philly fans because they booed Matthew Stafford. Those people also called Matthew Stafford a Detroit legend. Okay. He's very good. He's still very good. But let's not get crazy. You know, the only players who can be called legend are, Brady, Joe Montana, Drew Brees. Maybe Drew Brees. Maybe not Drew Brees. There's only Manning. That's a legend. Kenny writes, go spend your husband's millions and shush. Linda refers to her as an attention whore. Corey calls her a dumb hoe. A lot of very sexist comments going on. Stevie says, I'll boo them damn kids all day long. Let's see. More comments. If I kept my kid in the house for 18 years, the kid would be a socially impaired loser. Chris, Amanda says, if they're Stafford's kids, they zoned out after the first sentence of that explanation. Paul Forster says, this is the best thing I've heard about the Stafford drama. All too true. Cole says, no chance her kid said that. She's a liar and asshole of the day. Corey says, Philly fans eat horse shit. Never forget. Paul Forster says, Calvin Johnson is the main reason Stafford was considered awesome for the Lions. By the way, if there's any parent who uses terms like teachable moment, I'm not. It was a teachable moment for my child. I had to explain to them that Daddy plays for the other team and they're booing me, not them. And then they said, yeah, but we don't play the game. Now, what she should have said is she should have hit him and said, dumb fuck, I just told you They're not bullying you. They're bullying me because I'm a dumb bitch. All right, now I'm using sexist comments. Who gives a fuck? It's Kelly Stafford. I'm a dumb bitch. And I decided I'd bring you out of hell. Asshole. The fuck is wrong with you? Don't put your kids in the crosshairs. It's not their fucking fault. You're an idiot. Linda says with her privilege, she has no right to bitch about anything. Corey says those kids are going to grow up to be as bitchy and stupid as she is. Tyler says, ugh, coworkers started bugging me, so I missed this whole story. Well, it's a good one. Go back. Ashley writes, Mrs. Stafford has big feelings. Linda says she knew exactly what she was doing. She asked for it. All right. Wanted to start with Matthew Stafford's wife. And if you remember after the game, someone said, how do you feel right now for the Lions fans? I'm happy for the players. So he's mad at 65,000 people. You asshole. I was the biggest Stafford fan in the world. I loved Matthew Stafford. Okay? But this makes me not like him. All of this. Like even on the field, how he was, there was like a big ass late hit on him. I'm not the guy that was like, get him. In fact, during the game, I had no problem with Matthew Stafford. It's after the game that I have a problem with Matthew Stafford. All right. Drama in the Eric Zane Show podcast household. Well, it's not really in the household. One of the members of the household did something that is like dollar signs lit up in my eyes when I was told what happened. I was like, I cannot wait to tell this story. Pooh Bear is working at the YMCA. It's time for Pooh Bear to come home. She calls me. First, I had a conversation with her as she's walking out the door. And then, like a handful of minutes later, she calls me back. And she says, I have something to tell you. And it just happened. And I just have to, I can't wait the 5 minutes it takes to get home to tell you. I have to tell you now. I go, okay. She says, I went out to the parking lot to leave. And then by the time I got out there, I realized I had to go tinkle. And it wouldn't be a good idea to drive home without going tinkle. I needed to go that bad. And I didn't want to pee my pants. I said, okay. Turns around, walks back into the facility. And then she says this. And then I don't know what I was thinking, but I walked right into the men's locker room, turned the corner, and I actually saw a 100% naked man and his penis. And then she says she screamed and scared the shit out of the guy. The floor was wet. And she knew that because when she screamed, ah, the guy kind of slipped and started to lose his balance. She scared the shit out of him. This nude dude, dick goes flopping. It's just, she ran out as fast as she got. Well, she didn't go in there fast. She thought she was going into the women's. She walked into the men's. And she screamed. And as she's walking out, she hears, what the fuck? And I go, Jesus. I go, you're going to get fucking fired. She goes, I'm not going to get fired. My God. There's someone on here that's posting pictures of Putin. I don't know, is that John Lennon? And Shrek. Corey responded with, fuck you. Kenny says, why is this fucker allowed to continue to scroll the chat? All right. I'll get him out of here. I just noticed it. Yeah, you're fucking up my story, you dick. I don't like people putting attention on them. Eyes on EZ always. All right, see you around, buddy. So Pooh Bear saw fresh penis. That's the end of that. I said to her, I go, I hope you don't get in trouble. She goes, I'm not going to get in trouble. I go, I hope not. I mean, Jesus Christ. Holy fuck. All right. Thank you so much for enjoying the show on Facebook, X, and YouTube. It's always fun to get started with the story of Diana seeing fresh penis and about how Kelly Stafford is stupid. But there's plenty more where that came from. If you want the rest of the show, download the Twitch app and search Eric Zane Live. It's that simple. Follow the page. Subscribe to the page. If you're at a laptop or a desktop, go to twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Don't forget, the audio podcast is available wherever you download shows. This becomes the audio podcast. Whether you listen to it or not, if you could, head over to Apple Podcasts or any podcasting platform and subscribe to the show. I get internet points when you do that, and I appreciate it. Also, I have a Patreon. The Patreon is one of the most important things we do. More coming up after this about what I have coming up tonight on Patreon. Actually, I'll just mention it now. It is another edition of Who Are These Free Beers? Ben Glaze and I will be reviewing recent episodes of the world-famous Free Beer and Hot Wings show. We'll also do the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast after, and you can sign up for my Patreon for free. 7 days. It's a 7-day free trial. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. Sign up for 7 days free, and then when that expires, I will charge you. You have to put in a payment option. But you can also cancel it during those 7 days, and you still get the 7 days. Patreon.com/Eric Zane.